Hey guys, how you doing? Hope everybody is tuning in that wants to see what the hell I have to say today because let me get some light on me here. Um, wrong light. There we are. Anyway, so yeah, what is what is this? This is Thursday, May 9th, 2024, and um, the word of today, our Egyptian word, is ka. Ka, right there. You see those little arms raised up? Ka means the soul or spirit in ancient Egyptian. They had a few names for this because they thought of the spirit as not one piece, but um, many parts of the Ka, you know. And it's interesting because my name, um, which is Michael, is Hebrew, and it in Hebrew would be me, Ka, of all things, me, Ka, El, and which means, Ka means, it means, of course, spirit or soul. Yeah, I guess even in that, because in Hebrew it means um, something like this spirit like El, spirit like God, or a spirit like God is what it's referencing because the me even in Egyptian means like, and then you say ka in Egyptian, that also means alongside Hebrew, it means spirit, and then El, which is completely Hebrew on that part. And yeah, so there you go. I don't know, opening up that way. Um, Not a whole lot to say. I wanted to catch up on, I don't know, sort of catch up on where I left off on last week of my life of getting into the music business and how I don't know what it led me up to. I guess I'm revisiting this stuff in my mind too. Um, so I might leave a lot of details out here and there, mistakenly and maybe on purpose in some cases. Um, so where was I on the last? I don't know. I was what Rudy. How you doing, man? There's Rudy Rodriguez on there. Um, Yeah. Uh, so anyway, so I came out of the Delcues family and that whole story about them and that was on the last episode if you want to go back and learn. But that really led me into going into the public school system and boy, that was some trying times for me because I was going into 10th grade would be, and for the first time going into public schools and I was I don't know, maybe not being around public schools might have helped me in the sense that I didn't know much about popularity outside of David Delcue's. He was like the most popular kid in school everywhere he went. Everybody like dressed like David, and I tried to do my hair like David and tight roll my pants. Anyway, but that was popularity for me in the private schools, and in public schools, I realized, whoa, the politics. Oh my, wow, it was overwhelming. But by the time I went into public schools, I think I was sort of dumb or numb to any ridicule or criticism from other kids in school, which is it's a thing that, I guess everyone that goes through public schools have to experience being, yeah. And in that, I became very close and friends. Tried to buddy up and be the teacher's pet to get through those days in school, and the school was very. I have to say, Hancock High School was very supportive in in the fact that they they allowed me to stay enrolled in the school, for what it's worth. I mean, as far as I wasn't going after any diploma, but they allowed me to stay enrolled in the school, and while completing an album I was working on in Nashville, Tennessee. So I lived all the way south Mississippi, and I had to go up to Nashville, and I was at the time 15, 16, 16, between 16 and 17. It was somewhere in there. And then I remember that I finally got that album released, and I was still in high school, and I came back from Nashville. Don't remember how the timeline works out exactly, but I came back to Mississippi, and yeah, somewhere along the way, I had released the album I was working on in Nashville, and it was through the Christian country music genre, and a song that was on it, one of the songs was called John Wayne and Jesus, and that I think they released it when I was about 16, and I didn't follow the charts. I didn't know what was really going on other than what they were telling me, the label that I was with, and then it was like, the record company, the label, right? But then, you know, they did an award ceremony at the Ryman Auditorium, and, and I had an unexpected award. I don't know how that works on that end, at least back then. I know how this system works and the awards and all of that. Guys, it is a bunch of BS, by the way. But so I got this award called the Star of Tomorrow Award for the song John Wayne and Jesus. And for me, I'd been working for some reason to try to get some award, because I remember all the times in school, just never, when they do the annual awards in school for, I don't know, I don't think they do that today, and that's probably better, because for me, I remember in school on that part, when I would go for those annual award events, I'd be like, "Oh, it's today?" I remember every time I'd be like, "Dang, I forgot to work hard this year, so I'm probably not gonna get an award." But I watched all the other kids get awards, and, they got awards for just about anything, and I'm going, well, I want an award." Instead of getting, you know, upset. You can go many different directions with that one, because it's meant to bother you in some way, I think. um, for those that don't get an award, that is, and it's there to encourage those who do get the awards, and what great job they've done and whatnot. And and maybe for some like me, it might drive you to want that award, which eventually, that's what I felt like it was when I got that award, but it really wasn't. It wasn't like well deserved to me, you know. The award was definitely, if anything, well deserved to Nick Granata and Terry Bell, who were the writers on that song. I did not write that song, um, but they wrote that song, and an outstanding song. Um, and then when I won the award, I remember I'm thinking to myself, because I was at the Ryman Auditorium. Leanne Rhymes at the time, I think she was 14. She was out with that new song Blue and stuff. And she was there. There was Colin Ray. There was all these, Loretta Lynn, and all these big people. For the first time, I was surrounded in the mother church of country music, the Ryman Auditorium. And I thought to myself, wow, the doors are open, Mike. Here you go. This is it. And right after that award ceremony, and I got my Star of Tomorrow award, a big glass award, I all of a sudden was back on my butt in Mississippi without a label deal. But I don't think it was even a year. For what? And I don't know. I don't know. It's the music business. First lessons to be learned here. I was spending my years playing in local bar rooms. By 15 years old, I picked up guitar. A lady by the name of Ann McNair, you go, well, you're going to get discovered. Well, she was one. She discovered me. If there's anyone that discovered me that can take the claim of discovery, she came into some little bar, was playing. I think maybe I was 13 or 14 at the time, actually, when she came to see me. And she might say 12 years old. I can hear her saying that, maybe. But she came out and saw me through her cousin, Dave Sellers, God rest his soul. Wonderful guy. And he's like, I have a cousin. She's in the music business. So she comes out and she sees me, and she was the reason. And she gave me a guitar, and it was an acoustic guitar. And she showed me how to write my first songs. She showed me the technique because she's a professional writer. And she took her time and sat down with me, showed me how to write. I remember these days sitting with her in the parks and stuff. And I'm learning guitar because she gave me a guitar and she showed me three chords. I remember, and that was G, C, and D. And she told me with those chords, you can pretty much make a song. And she was right. And then she gave me a big book with you know, finger placements on a guitar, for other chords and stuff. And I sat and I learned them, and I would sit in my room every day and outside of school and just trying to learn guitar so that I could eventually have my own band and be able to communicate, more importantly, with musicians and not just be a singer. So, and nothing wrong with just being a singer, guys, but when you do have a little bit of knowledge on an instrument, it's an easy way to communicate, easier. So I started really teaching what she showed me. From there, I taught myself, and I even went to Hancock High for, I went into music school for music class for a year there, but I figured that wasn't my world in music. It wasn't. There's nothing wrong with that. It's just I had a different goal in mind already, and it had something to do with the radio and pop music. At the time it was country music. I mean, I'm just some trailer park redneck boy trying to get the hell out of Mississippi somehow, figuring this out, right? And that was the only thing that I figured I had to hang on to, was what my goal was, and sticking to that. And so that whole award that I won in Nashville, which was all, and I say I wound up on my butt after. What happened was, long story short, Ann McNair, who was managing me, hooked me up with a company out of Nashville, where the company then decided to sign me and basically move her aside out of the way. But she gracefully bowed out, and I was upset at the moment. That was one of the learning moments, one of many that were to come also. And she bowed out and allowed the company to take over. And that's when I did that album and I won that award. And then I fell on my butt then and went back to Mississippi, and I'm just going, what happened? What just happened? And I'm 17, and then I come back and I graduate, on a certificate of completion, not a diploma. But it was nice that I was, one of the first to in my family to be able to at least, I say one of the first at the time. I have other family members, direct family members, that are way smarter than I am, that some of them have their diploma, some of them don't, but way smarter. And I just wanted to go across, and feel like I graduated with the gown and everything and the hat. And then I didn't know what to do. I was on my I was on my butt, and I was playing in local bars again. I was playing at a little place often on the Gulf Coast called the Brass Anchor. It was called Bootsy's Brass Anchor, and, um and guys, I'm leaving out a lot of stuff along the way, and I'm realizing this. There's probably a lot of pissed people right now. Why isn't he mentioning me? Um, a lot of people played a part in my life, and I can round those up into individual stories for other days and when they come about. But um, being at Bootsy's Brass Anchor, I got to know a lot of the musicians locally down there that I looked up to very much so. And I wasn't one of those kids when I learned how to play guitar. Oh, let me go get some kids my age or younger, and we're going to get in a garage and make a band. I didn't think like that. Ann McNair helped me pull the band together for the first time when I was 15. And she assigned seasoned musicians, and she was one of them. She plays piano. She played, and that was my first band. It was Vern Hensley, Ann McNair, um, Melvin was on drums, and Ray on guitar, her son and son, and and I hope I'm not, yeah, Kenny on guitar. We had a nice group for the first time, and it was that was what I needed, and that's what I realized in my introduction to musicianship was be around the ones that you look up to for sure. Be the ones that will teach you. I am autodidactic, in my nature. That's the way I am. But if I surround myself with people that know more than I do, that's what I try to do. So that way I learn from them. And I was doing so by putting, you know, seasoned musicians, meaning they were older than me. They weren't teenagers. They were, twice my age, some of them, but I was young at the time, by the way. Um, and I got to play all along the Gulf Coast and meeting all those people in the Brass Anchor and then I wound up going, well, what am I, what's going to happen? Boy, you take whatever opportunities you can. So I'm an opportunist, and working at the Brass Anchor, I was working at the time, also got to know this man, Pete Leone, who was well known on the Mississippi Gulf Coast and outside of. And I probably shouldn't even be saying his name now. I don't even know why. But you didn't hear that name anyway. But he mentored me. He was another one that really was a big time mentor to me. There was several on the Gulf Coast that were, and he was one of the major ones. Ann McNair, him, and I lived with Pete. I recorded in his recording studio, an extremely outstandingly talented um, man. His brain isn't normal. He's one of those. He's a sort of a savant, maybe an acquired savant. I don't know. Some would say, a very unique personality. I'm not one to rate relatively what a genius is, but I would consider him quite brilliant and probably a genius. But I got with him, and he mentored me a lot, and he let me live with him. I played with him in his band at the Brass Anchor, and and eventually a show out of Las Vegas came to the Imperial Palace in Biloxi, and they would typically call some people in the that knew Pete and through the casino business, because he had a history of working with as entertainment director for several casinos. I take it. I know one in particular was Casino Magic at one time, and he knew of this show called Legends in Concert that was coming to Mississippi, and he said, "Look, they called me. It was something like I'm not wanting to put the band together, so I'm handing it off to someone else." But he's like, "But he's like, you really need to do the gig or something like this. You go do it. It's good experience," he said, "for you." I remember that was the key thing that drew me in. He's like, it's not about you on this one. This is a learning thing. This is good for you in the long run. This is not about, creating an album and going and being Michael Grimm. This is some time to take the moment to hone in on your musicianship and your musician skills, and also get into the social pipeline of the music in Las Vegas and get to meet these people. And boy, I'm glad I took him up on this, and he opened the door for me on that one as a lead guitar player and background singer for Legends in Concert. And yeah, that's that. I don't know. There's that moment. I left a lot out, I know, guys, and I can go back, like I say, periodically and talk about some of these moments. These are moments that really did shape me at a very crucial time. For what it's worth, you want to know how screwed up I am, or the way my brain works. This might be a way to somewhat figure it out. Maybe you can figure it out for me by hearing some of these stories as to what your perspective may be on me. I'm not trying to project anything other than the truth there, and from my perspective only. And I know that all those times in the past, they really did shape me for the better. Even the stuff that was bad, guys, they call that paying dues, and I knew that then. And I had people throughout my life tell me, even long after I was in Nashville, that fell from grace themselves, would say to me, Michael, you might as well give up. And you might as and they're really reflecting themselves onto me. And I always knew that, and I felt bad for them in that sense, but at the same time, they're probably feeling bad for me that I had any hope left, you know by that point, because I'm reaching my 30s, and I still didn't know. But I was doing great when I moved to Vegas. That's another story. Maybe for next week I can go into Legends in Concert, and how that led me to Vegas. Let me see here. I see a lot of people commenting. How do I scroll through this? I don't even know how you scroll through this. Anyway, I can only see the latest. Oh, Paula Grimm says, hi, Michael. Hi, Paula. Love your name. Grimm. It's such a grim name. Gail, how you doing, baby? Diana. I see Nodalities. Giving up music would be like cutting out your heart, I imagine. Well, Nodalities. I hope I'm saying that correctly. Um, I don't know. I think music is just, it's always been a part of me. It's a weird thing. Some people say it was natural for me. I like to say no, that I've always been my worst critic when it comes to being able to maybe, I don't know. There's a combination of many things that go into singing, and especially if singing the way that I sing, I don't really consider it singing. You know, I caught on to one thing a long time ago, was that it was not how good I sing or how good a song I'm singing. I caught on to it, to the fact that people respond to me when I understand the emotions of something, and when I deliver it emotionally as such, without, I guess, me even realizing it. I close my eyes and go into the song. I'm not listening to I'm not listening to the melodies. I kind of know where they go. My concentration is on the lyrics, and the lyrics sometimes can choke me up if I'm concentrating on them too much, But I do what I call speaking in key. I'm not a singer, Don't and I say that, don't mistake me as a singer. That's just my title, my occupation, I guess, whatever. A singer, songwriter, guitar player ish thing. It's what I what I am and what I've become is a really difficult thing to explain, and a lot of people that have had their perspective on my life. Boy, they have their own perspectives, and it's quite interesting when I hear their perspectives on it because it doesn't match up to mine at all. In most cases. But I entertain them, the ideas, and it's a strange business, is all I'm saying. And there is no set. You don't go in. There's no applications, for this. And what I do in this is just one of many things that I do. I'm insatiably curious. I'm not smart like that. And I don't want people to even think that I am. I may speak like I am sometimes, but I am slow. I am looking for the right thing, and I'm looking for the truth, and I don't want to hurt people along the way. And I do have a way that I collect information that's different than others. I noticed that. And I thought everybody was that way, but I'm noticing that's not the case. Oh, and by the way, something else I didn't know about. I didn't know about this inner monologue that I thought everybody had. It's a thing if you look it up online that there are people that don't have inner monologues, and it's more common than what I would ever imagine. I didn't even imagine that people didn't have inner monologues. It's not a defect or anything. I think some people think it is because I watched one lady cry about it when she realized in her 30s or something that she can't the way she put it was something like that. She can't see the movie when she's reading a story. She can't see the movie like some people can see the visual in their heads of what's being written. And some people, and these same people like myself that do this, and this, what you probably do also, but we can hear sentences. I can hear sentences in my head without moving my tongue, without talking. And it's constantly going. And I know a lot of people have that. We call it mind chatter and things like this. And you would think that is the most common thing. But believe it or not, there are people that do not have an inner monologue, an inner voice. That's interesting. It's and for them, I've seen them speak about it. Those that don't have inner monologues, interested on this, and for them, it's no problem. They themselves thought that everybody was like them, and they're like, no, we just store the information. It's like information filed. It's not visuals and it's not audio. It just doesn't come in the form of visuals and audio. It's very interesting. Interesting stuff. Yes. You know, you want to know how stupid I am, really? I used to think, a tart, tarts, like sour, tart. I used to think that that was what that was when they put "re" on the front of it. I thought it was a pastry for many years. Yeah, that goes to show how smart I am. Anyway, but I'm just saying, I make no claim being smart. I'm just always trying to find the truth. And guys, it's very difficult right now. Critical thinking. What is that? I think if one looks up the definition behind critical thinking and what that pertains, I don't think you have to worry past that point. You would start you would if you take on the philosophy and ism of just that, and that's what I'm trying to do in my life. If anything, my stupid self can at least premeditate a way where it's not to be cynical or discard information, but to learn to put tacks up in things and go, well, they're pointing directions, they're pointing signs. When people say something, that's not gospel, unless they're the one that you're trying to get that from, the source of whatever that is. But no, where are you getting that information from? I'm stupid, so I really want to see where the source is. And if you're right about the source of where it's coming from, maybe I'll trust you in a moment of crisis. That's just the way it is. That way I can look at things. It's not easy, by the way. Cross-referencing is not easy. Listening to both sides of every story. I play the devil's advocate. I recommend you doing it for your own good, people, please. Anybody out there, be your own critic and play the devil's advocate by listening to every negative and positive anything, because at the end then you step back, at least what I do, and then I can see now the forest from the trees with that information, and then I look at probabilities from a distance. Now I'm able to gauge it, at least my process of this, able to gauge. And yes, people, I live on one reality, one truth. I don't know what that is. I don't know what it is, but if anybody thinks they do, well, tell me and point me in the direction, but don't come at me as though that's it and trust me and then think I'm going to believe that. No, I'm not that way. And but that's the way I think everybody should be, especially in these times. And it's not, like I say, to discard information. It is to listen to information, all information. And then at the end go, what's more probable with all this information? What seems more probable? Information. And then when people say, no, don't go any further past that, that's when I go, oh, I need to then. Well, then I need to go past that because they're telling me exactly not to. I don't know. That's just the thing with me. Don't tell me not to do something. I'm sorry, guys. That might get me killed, but you're talking to the wrong person when you do that. I'm just letting you know. Okay. I'm not a loose lip person like that. I'm just saying, don't tell me don't cross a line. I will cross if I see it benefits me, and especially in some way or someone I love, or if it's to keep harm out of the way, and somebody say, don't go down that road, don't even listen to that person because you might be gullible, you might be feeble-minded and meek-minded. I don't think so. I don't. Maybe I'll get reserve some doubt for myself, but I am pretty critical, guys. And at the end of the day, I am the one that everybody hates because of that when it comes to it. But I have no other way of deciphering what the truth is sometimes. Anywho, um, yeah, so I don't know. What else do we have going on? I can't sing any songs today. I don't know what's going on, but I can't sing cover songs for some reason. So I'm coming up with a project. I've been working on something. I've been working on something. I don't want to. I've been telling you that a little bit, but it is in the works, and it's nothing big, but it's just a statement, a moment, things I need to say, and I'll do it musically. So since last year, I've been journaling a lot of my thoughts, and And now I'm to go back and look and revisit these thoughts and examine myself from this year. In doing so, I'm 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 able to create some interesting perspectives of my own to put in song, which is part of the process for me. So anyway, that's about it. I think that's about all I want to say. Let you guys digest some of that. Um, and I'll be in Pahrump, I think this Saturday. Pahrump Winery. Forget the name of it. Yeah. So I don't know if it's tickets or whatever, but I'll be out there this weekend. That'll be fun. That's always a nice place, the winery out there. Um, and then Sunday is Mother's Day. So happy Mother's Day, by the way, to all of you mothers out there and all of you that don't have children. Mom, you're a mom to me, and your mom an inspiration to others. And it's a day to celebrate the woman, the the life-giving woman, in that respect. And that's what me and my wife are going to be doing. I'll be celebrating my wife in that respect too. She gets another holiday, and all the ladies do in my life. And that's that. And I want to end it on that. And I love you guys. Thank you for tuning in for whatever this is worth. I'll work out this whole music thing. I'll have a song for you next week and figure out the politics and legalities, and they're always changing stuff up. I got to make sure that I'm legal and that I won't get another lawsuit on me. We'll talk about lawsuits on another day. How people love those things. I've been hit with a couple in my life, and they're not fun when you're trying to do something, and people are like, "Nah, I know you have money. I have a life too. Sorry, Michael, gotta sue you." It's ugly how that is in life, but we'll talk about that next week, and or not. Money, we do need to bring that one up. All the ugh, all the bad about it, and you go, well, it's not bad when you don't have any. I do know this, people, but for those who haven't had a lot of money, I want to tell you, there's a lot of people think that I'm a millionaire, and I am far from it, guys. I am in the hole, in fact. But there's a lot of people that believe I'm a millionaire, and when I won the show America's Got Talent in 2010, I've never seen such greed. I've never seen real evil until that moment. And yes, maybe within myself, even too, things that I did that I look back on and going, why did you do that? That wasn't you. That was what another person would say. You were possessed, Michael. It was tough. And then watching what money did to other people, though, around me and how they reacted and behaved. And then I was like, Lucy, how do we get rid of this quick enough? Well, it's already gone, so no need of that. But then why are they saying I'm worth $3 million each year that goes up to? Anyway, but it's how people react to that. And then at the end of the day, when you go on, well, I'm broke, I don't have any of this. Well, they don't have any pity for the rich. If they think you're rich, I know this, man. And this is it's nasty. I don't blame individuals themselves. I blame humans as human nature. This is just the ugliness of man. and you hear that money is the root of all evil. Well, by God, I don't think that's in the Bible. It might be. I don't think it's in the Bible, though, but it should be. Because I'll tell you, that is the damn truth, man. That's the bloody truth. Having enough money to put bread on your table and a roof over your head, man, and if you can live a good, comfortable life that way, that really you're doing the best. You're doing the best you can in life. Okay. And we appreciate more. I say we because I come from poor and I know what that means not having money. But I'll tell you one thing about growing up that way is that you learn about the love amongst each other and the support. You learn what bonobos are as opposed to chimpanzees. Look that up. And I keep the bonobos in my life, near me, because humans aren't, in my definition, humans. I don't really consider it. I have a different outlook on these things, and it's really not a pessimistic view. It's one that at the end of the day, if I see any good from humans, then I get to call them human. If I see humans learning from their mistakes, not repeating them, because they go, well, humans make mistakes. No, that's not my opinion. No, humans learn from mistakes. See, that's the difference in the way that I believe. And there are just fundamental things about me that I know about that I am not willing to ever change because these are the things that I know work. I know they work for me. I don't preach them on other people, but if you want to hear my opinion, that's what I give on this, and it's just that. I'm not rich. I don't have all this money. And I don't want to. And if I could live a humble, non-famous life, which is basically where I am right now, which I'm comfortable with. I don't like that fame. If I could be in this business, which I have, and not be famous and make a living, put bread on the table. There's no benefits in this business, you know. I have Social Security. I can't get that until whenever. God knows by the time I turn, it'll be probably 80. 80 years old, you get to draw Social Security. I don't know. But, there are no, I have no medical plans, insurance, things like that, all of that stuff. Know that in the world of working 9 to 5s and working in that world, that you are what we need, and you are hard freaking workers, man. You work your butts off, and know you're well needed. I I don't know that life that well. I've spent my life just pillow to pillow when I was younger, um, not knowing where I was going to get my next bread, from. And that's still the way I live life. And that's the way it is in this business. I don't know what's coming up next month. My wife and I both, we're entrepreneurs, and we have no clue where we're going to make the money to pay the bills. It's no complaint. I'm not a victim. I don't play the victim card, and nor does she. We don't do that in life because we know of real victims. We know of real people that are victims, and by God, most of them don't call them a victim. They'll punch you in your face, but it's like we don't live on that. It's a tough world, guys. It's a tough freaking life. I came from nothing, and I have worked hard, but I've also tried my best to work smart. For whatever reason, whatever I have in my life is just, I got smart and I married up, is what I did. And for anything that I have around me, it's because I put good people in my life that I trust. And I don't just trust anybody, but I love you guys, and I appreciate all of you, and I trust and love you. And come and see me in Vegas sometimes. I'll always be playing music, and I'll keep you up to date on what's going on, when this project may start, or when the project is over. All right. So much love to all of you. I hope nobody's misunderstood and cancel me off of YouTube today. Maybe I'll get another pass for another day here. All right, guys. Love you all. Happy Mother's Day. Mwah.